Hey there, welcome to my kitchen and welcome back to our channel. Today we're going to make easy cornbread, just cornbread, because in a few days, getting closer to Thanksgiving, I'll show you how to make my dressing. But for right now, I'm going to tell you where I got my recipe. Remember, I did a book review like a long time ago. I hadn't done any book reviews lately. But anyway, it's called The Prepper's Cookbook. And it has all kinds of information for beginners on how to start your journey in preparedness. And it's a great little book. It came out, I think, in like 2014, I'm pretty sure. And the cornbread recipe in here is perfect. It is absolutely perfect. I tried for years. The one thing I didn't get from my granny was cornbread. I don't know why. It was, I guess because she made it all the time and I just was running through the house and really just didn't pay any mind. It was just always there. You know, she taught me how to make biscuits. I could make biscuits by the time I was 12, but I never really didn't do the cornbread. So I never could replicate hers till I found this little cookbook and I tried this one. This one is so close to Granny's. The only difference, as far as I can tell, is I know she always used bacon grease instead of butter or oil to make her cornbread. So that's my swap, and the only difference between this recipe and mine is I used the bacon grease. Okay, and to go with our cornbread, we're going to have that 15 bean soup that I just recently did a video on. And if you missed that, Randy will put it up there somewhere up there in La La Land where you can click on the little card. That stuff is so good. You can eat it 3-4 days in a row. It won't hurt your feelings a bit. Okay, to get started with our cornbread, you're going to need 3/4 a cup of cornmeal. I just used the Martha White mix. 1 whole cup of all-purpose flour, 1/4 a cup of sugar, a whole cup of milk, 1 egg, and you can either use 2 tablespoons of bacon grease or 2 tablespoons of real butter, some salt, and some baking powder. All right, I have 2 bowls sitting out here. The reason for that is I want my wet ingredients mixed and I want my dry ingredients mixed, and then I put them together. Now I know I've seen all kinds of channels where they just dump everything into the one bowl and mix it up. And I really can't tell you what the difference is, but it just rises better and does so much better job if you do it separately. All right, we're gonna start with the egg. I'm just gonna break that. Make sure I don't have no shells in there. Nobody wants a shell. I'm going to add the milk. I almost said water. It's milk. We're going to give that a stir and mix that egg all up in there. Then I'm going to take my bacon grease that I'm probably going to need a spoon to get out. And we're going to drop that bacon grease or butter. If you had 2 tablespoons of butter, that's fine too. And we're going to mix that all up. And then we're just going to set that aside. And now we're going to do our dry ingredients. So we're going to flour, 1 cup of flour, 3/4 cup of cornmeal, quarter cup of sugar, 1 good tablespoon of baking powder, and 1/4 teaspoon of salt. We're going to give that a good stir and make sure that's all good and incorporated. I think the reason for mixing it in separate bowls is so that you don't overwork your dough. That's probably the main reason why you would use 2 bowls, because you really don't want to overwork it. As soon as it's incorporated, you want to dump it in a hot pan. All right, now we're going to get those wet ingredients into the dry, and we are just going to mix it until it's incorporated. Okay, and that's too thick. So, adding a little bit of milk at a time, because this batter should be kind of runny. I'm going to put about 1/8 of a cup and try to fold that in, because I don't want to overwork that dough. But that was way too thick. You know, on any given day, just depends on your flour and your meal. But that's what I want. See there? It's falling right straight through there. That's what you're looking for. So, alright, now I use my 8-inch cast iron skillet to make cornbread. That's exactly the perfect size for 2 to 4 people. It is just perfect. And this recipe does this pan perfectly. Now, if you don't have this, you can use an 8x8 square, just regular dish, and it will work. It just, when you do it in cast iron, it has this most beautiful brown crust on the outside. It's just the bomb. Yeah. Now, I'm going to take another little bit you can use butter, absolutely, but I'm going to use some more bacon grease. I'm going to put some bacon grease in the bottom of that pan. And then I'm going to put it in a 425-degree oven. And I'm going to let that pan and that grease get good and hot. And then I'm going to pour my batter in it. Alright, in we go. 425. Alright, now I'm just going to leave that in there for like 5 to 7 minutes. I want that pan hot and the oil hot. You know, making cornbread really is an art. If you don't get it the very first time you do it, it didn't cost you that much to try. Just keep doing it. If you make your cornbread and it's a little too firm, you know, it's not fluffy, then you probably didn't have enough milk. If you put too much milk, then when you go to pick it up, it'll just kind of crumble all over in your hand. You can't butter it because it just crumbles. And every time is different, but you know, you'll learn that sweet spot and you'll go, oh, okay, that's where it needs to be, you know, because you'll know by feel how the batter feels. You'll know how that cornbread's going to turn out. All right. I'm all melty and hot. Okay. And now I'm going to pour that batter right into that hot pan. Okay, remember, 425-degree oven, 20 minutes. Oh. All right, here we go. Now I'm just going to let that sit there for probably about at least 10 minutes and let it turn loose. And then I'm going to flip it out onto the plate. All right. Now this is a little trick, but you have to have a good pan to do this. But if you put your hand on the top and you turn it just a little bit, then you'll know that it's not going to stick. And then all you have to do is turn it out. Just like that. And now I'm going to flip it back over. Voila. And I get the crumbs. I'm really pleased because I'm using a toaster oven, not a real oven. I'm ecstatic because it turned out almost perfect. Almost perfect.
Okay, we're in for another taste test. This is cornbread. Tammy loves cornbread, and we really haven't had the opportunity to have real cornbread because Tammy hadn't had an oven.
Had an oven.
But we do
make hot water cornbread.
Hot water cornbread, which you need to go check that out because that's neat as heck. Okay, but I eat my cornbread with a wad of butter on it, or in it. Okay, and I'm probably going to have some more butter. But I'm going to go ahead and try to eat this while that butter's floating around on there. Wow. That is really good.
Yeah.
This is really good, guys.
He's not going to talk anymore. He's just going to eat. Y'all have a great day, and I'll see you again.
You're supposed to show them how you're going to put your cornbread.